Hey, this is Jade from Support the Scene, and I'm here with a very special guest. This is Rose.
Hey.
Rose is the singer of Fallen Stars, as well as doing a ton of other cool stuff, photographer, actress, all that kind of good stuff. So we're here reviewing some tunes. We thought, well, we're quarantined, doesn't mean we can't stop supporting indie musicians. We had you guys submit stuff, and it's come from all over the world, which is really cool, and we have submissions from up here in Vancouver to just everywhere. So thanks for all your submissions, super excited, and let's just kind of dive into it.
Saturday night and the party's gonna be at my place. Been ironing the napkins and dusting the house all day. Tea candles look nice beside the flower arrangements. Olives and dip and a nice piece of duck pate. We got the Cabernet. We got some white fumé. Sangiovese and a nice rosé. Middle class wine drinking. Middle class wine drinking. Middle class wine drinking. Middle class party.
Yeah, I really like, obviously, it's kind of, what would you, ska?
Yeah, I'd say it's very ska-esque. I like how light and bouncy it is. Like, immediately I'm just shaking my head.
You're shaking your earrings.
Shaking my earrings, and they're bobbling.
I mean, you know, it's the one thing I love about ska and kind of that reggae kind of like upbeat. It's always on the upbeat, and it just makes you groove, right?
Yeah, it definitely reminds me of stuff I would listen to in my youth, now in my 20s. But at the same time, it sounds like something my family would be playing at a family reunion, get together out in Saskatchewan, jamming on guitars around a campfire, and they're like, yeah, rocking out.
Yeah, it's very.
It's totally a young ska, but total dad band.
Yeah.
Sort of sound.
Yeah, and I definitely love the big gang vocals.
Yeah.
Just a lot of different elements that really fit the genre.
Yeah.
They're not trying to push too much boundaries. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's just a nice, awesome, great ska track.
Yeah, this is definitely something you could listen to on one of your peppy up shopping when, you know, we can go out shopping again when the stores are restocked.
Or, yeah. Or you can always listen to it when, as you just said, family barbecue. You got some tunes playing. You got these guys just in the backyard, just all with their guitars playing away. So
yeah, or if you're having a really crappy day and you just want to feel better, this is definitely the kind of music I would put on.
Yeah.
So the beginning of this track is really cool. That instrumental, orchestral kind of, I don't even know how to describe it. It's got like an eclectic sound.
Very gypsy.
Yeah.
It reminded me of something more kind of like folk European than I would think.
Yeah. See, I almost thought kind of Celtic, kind of Middle Eastern, kind of Egyptian. Like it's got different influences, I find, within it. But you also find in music, everything kind of comes full circle eventually.
Yeah, and then once it blasts into the actual track, It's once again, it's just that punk that gets you moving.
Yeah, that driving beat.
Yeah.
One of the things I loved about this song, and then songs like this one, I used to listen to this when I would go skateboarding. So when you're cruising down a street and you've got this powerful vocal and these powerful heavy instruments, you just feel on top of the world.
Yeah, totally. And I don't think it's English.
I don't believe so. It doesn't sound English. The one thing I would note is I wish the vocals were up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like, I can hear them, I can hear the power behind them, but I wish I could hear the clarity behind the words a bit more.
It's one thing when it's mixed. The big difference between top 40 mixing or radio mixing, I would say, not just this to top 40, but radio mixing versus kind of indie producer mixing. Yeah. The vocals tend to be more buried. Yeah. Whereas, like, for a lot of radio stuff, the vocals are front and center, right? Yeah, whereas when you start getting into more of the underground music and the heavier genres, I do find that vocals tend to be buried a bit more. Yeah. Something I struggle with in our own mixing practices in our band. Yeah, well, even, like, I was just listening to Megadeth, the Mod. People crucify me for that, but just in a way of the vocals were so up front that it took me aback. I was like, is this the original mix? And it's just, his vocals are that much up front, even though it's a heavier track. Yeah. And it's one of their more popular things. Is their correspondence, who knows? Whereas in that, there's still a bit of clarity within that lower in the mix song, whereas this one, I just wish it was a bit more there. Like, it's almost there. I can kind of hear it. Yeah. But I just want it more because it's really good and I want more of it. So one of the things I love about this track is the electronic elements that they use, the production style. Yeah. It's well mixed. It's a little muddy in the guitars, just on the mix point. Yeah, when it gets really heavy, I found that I lost a little bit of quality. It was a little bit muddy. Same thing, again, as I mentioned in the last track. With this one, I wish the vocals were up more. And again, I know it's kind of a trope of heavier music to have those vocals buried. Yeah. But you can bury those vocals and still have a sense of clarity. Yeah. And they get that a little bit in the screams. But when it turns into that clean vocal, I hear the melodic hook, but I want to hear a little bit more of what's being said. It's the difference between some of this stuff and, like, Linkin Park with its big hooks. You can have that big, roaring, ripping, loud guitar, but you can still have those really clear vocal hooks. And here, you're right, they're a little more reverb, they're a little more buried. Maybe to cover up some singer insecurities, maybe to cover up some mixing, things like that. Well, even the effect of the reverb and everything sounds cool. Just bump it up a couple dBs and you'd be golden. Or maybe it's something to do with the mastering of the track, or maybe it hasn't yet been mastered. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, well, that's one thing cool. Just, like, it's a very well-rounded. I love the amount of kick and bass into it, because you could put this on a big PA system and it would just sound pretty ripping. Yeah. But I agree. I just wish the vocals were just a little punchier, a little more present. But getting to the instrumentation of it, I love the heavy, the metalcore sound that they have. Yeah. and that the balance between the heavy and the hooky chorus works really well. They're not favoring one over the other. It's very evenly distributed. It's a very radio ready song, written wise, structure wise kind of thing too.
Yeah, it's just waiting for that time in music for this kind of stuff to hit the radio again. Yeah. Which is exactly what we're working on too. Yeah. We love this type of sound. I want to hear it come back into the mainstream a little bit more, as you know, people say don't go mainstream.
Don't sell out.
Yeah, don't sell out. Mainstream's good for profit.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, do what you love doing, and if you love what you're doing, it's going to sound great.
Yeah, and it's a sick track. I would put this on any time of the day.
Yeah.
And because that's a sick riff. This
is the type of music that influenced me.
Yeah.
You know, as a vocalist and young musician. I always like the kind of beginnings that this song starts off with, that punchy little bam, and then it just kind of, it just makes you want to mosh.
Yeah, and you know, it's it kind of sets the mood right off the bat kind of thing, and it already has like, in EDM they call it the drop, right?
Yeah.
So you get that guitar riff and then you know it's going to get heavy.
Exactly.
And right off the bat. So.
And right off the bat with that start, you know, you get that moment where you're like bracing for it, and then it launches and you're ready, and you're ready to go. Like, this is the kind of song that I would hear at pretty much any venue in Vancouver. There's a lot of venues that are still open, not during quarantine time, that would host this kind of band, and it would fit in really well in the Vancouver metal scene.
Yeah, because this reminds me of, you know, you go to the Astoria, you go to 340, you could just see this wherever. You know, and that's the cool thing I love about metal is that it you know, it goes beyond different regions and things like this. It's very universal.
Transcends borders.
Yeah, and you know, well, same with most music. And
I was going to say that's what music is all about, is transcending borders. And I love seeing stuff like this come out more.
Yeah,
because it's everywhere. People like to say, you know, they don't see a lot of certain genres in their different communities, but every community has people that like this type of music. Not just people who play it, but those who enjoy it and listen to it. So getting your music out there is so important. Yeah,
and I would totally see these guys any day, and you know, any day of the week. I would totally.
Yeah, they're high energy. I like their instrumentation. I like that their vocals are up in level. I can understand them even though he's screaming.
Yeah, and you know, and it's still catchy enough guitar wise. It's got some sick riffs. The drums are really tight with it. Everything's well produced.
That one guitar riff kind of during the main chorus part just makes me want to like twirl my hair around.
Yeah.
Do one of those halo spins.
Yeah, like, you know, it's a good track. It's solid. I'd love to see a music video with it and see them, you know, really rocking out with it. So
I would also love to see a music video with some kind of storyline too.
Yes.
Just to dive more into the song, because it sounds really cool.
Yeah.
So this song started off with a really cool, different, eerie kind of beginning.
Yeah, very layered. They had some, maybe they stretched it, maybe they slowed it, reversed it.
Yeah,
just a lot
like
of different stuff.
they manipulated it to sound really cool.
Yeah, it stands out right off the bat, and it sets the mood. And for black metal bands, it's about that theatricality. You can see this on stage, with like a big fire. And then just craziness, flashing lights, and then the band comes out and begins this slow doom kind of creepiness that comes on.
Yeah, definitely. And with this kind of track, it's not something everybody's familiar with. Black metal is definitely one of those genres that gets a bad rap because people don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
They don't know the technicality that goes into the instrumentation and just the stories that go into writing these songs.
Exactly, and it's that whole this genre is very specific with its whole sense of writing it, of like how deep are you into it to be a real black metal band. Like if you think hair metal people are bad with like, oh, that's a poser hair metal band, you got nothing on these guys. And there's a bunch of cool documentaries on the different styles and different featured black metal bands. I'm sure people can comment down below on a few that they've seen. I've only seen a couple, but it's really cool to see the whole culture behind real Norwegian black metal versus like very westernized in different places around the world.
Exactly.
It's also one of the very big metals that metal genres that go into things like all the places where metal's banned. You'll see in that documentary talking about metal around the world, you'll see a lot of more black metal bands than you will any other bands. You won't go around to Saudi Arabia and see the cool power metal band. You may, but there's a lot more black metal bands than there are that kind of stuff.
Well, simply because of the controversy around it. Yeah. And it, like I said before, it's not something that's mainstream. It's not something everybody likes. It's a genre I'm not super familiar with. Yeah. However, I do enjoy because I like those creepy, weird, eerie, different type of things. That's my vibe. So I really like the track. It's got that big doominess. It's got the creepiness feel. It's pretty well rounded, and it's definitely. I'd like those vocals to be a little bit stronger, like I've said in previous tracks on this review. The type of growl that he's doing is different than a lot of screams that I hear, especially in black metal. Yeah. Although I do hear a lot of growling in other black metal bands, this one's almost softer. I want to say.
It definitely could use a little more pumping up and a little more up.
Yeah, it needs a little
just in a mix.
Little oomph behind it. Like, I can hear it. I can hear that it's there, but it needs to convince me that it's there. And I want a sound that's just in my face.
Yeah, I mean, I like the dynamics where they bring it down a lot of times, let the vocals breathe, and then bring it up back to that heaviness, so it's not just like straight heavy all the time.
Yeah, like this type of growl and this type of scream is exactly how I taught myself to scream. And I just started with like this kind of tone to my voice, and then I just learned different techniques on how to push that with my diaphragm, because the worst thing you can do as a vocalist, especially somebody in heavy music, is scream wrong.
Yeah, you don't hurt your voice.
I don't recommend, screaming without, knowing a little bit of technique.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, all in all, wicked stuff.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out those reviews with us. We have lots more coming, because what else can you do when you're stuck in quarantine? Just listen to music. So thanks. Keep sending submissions in to the vancityscene@gmail.com. Be sure to check out our Facebook page as well as our YouTube channel, where we have interviews, we have live videos, and we have tons of other cool videos that are coming up. Check out our podcast that's out every Wednesday, as well as our exclusive The Current, which features current stuff from where we are in Vancouver, but of course these reviews are from all over the world. Really stoked to have that. Thanks again for my special guest, Rose. Be sure to check her out on social media, as well as check out her band, Fallen Stars. Do you want to give any plugs?
Sure, yeah. as Jade said, check out Fallen Stars. I think we're Fallen Stars Band on Instagram. Check
Fallen
me
Stars
out.
Band on Facebook as well.
Yeah, check me out on Instagram at Roxy, RAWKSY, and I'm also on TikTok, so follow me there.
Yeah, and so we'll be doing more of these with more covers that you guys send in, and hopefully you guys check them out and enjoy them.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun.
See you later. Bye.